right, start live stream. And there we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Omega Given here. Are we live? Let's just turn the audio. Yes, we are. We have audio. We are on. Let's get this started. So, hello, everybody. I haven't live streamed in a bit, but today we're going to be doing a fun little project. That I started vibe coding on my own earlier, but we're gonna do something interesting with it. It's basically I want to make myself a Canvas app. Yes, I know Canvas apps exist everywhere and anywhere, but I found a flaw with a lot of them. The flaw being that they don't have a standardized save system in which if a thing doesn't like if they don't have a open source save system, it means that if their app ever goes down or becomes deprecated, stuff like that, people can't be able to reopen it. So I want to make some kind of save system that works. Also, the app to be able to load that save system to have a infinite scrolling canvas. And hello there, IZK, my dude. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a very long while. Yes, but we're live streaming. We're gonna be vibe coding today, so we're gonna be doing some fun stuff. So we're gonna be doing a nice git poll of my project. I'm gonna switch it over. So this is my project right here. I'm gonna call it the Infini app. Infinity, like infinity kind of app or whatever. That's what I want to call it. We're gonna pull this project down, GitHub CLI. You guys can pull it down if you want as well, but we're gonna pull it down. Oh yeah, cool. All right, so we pulled it down. If we do a little ls here, we'll see that it has the Infinity app right there. So we're gonna cd into Infinity app, and then we're now in the Infinity app repo on our local computer. So now our next step is we want to get this up in our encoding environment. Actually, do I even have a coding environment on here? I do not have a coding environment on here. So we're gonna have to remedy that. Sudo wait 1 second. I got a message from work thing apparently. Okay, never mind. Don't worry about the work thing. Today's technically a day off, but I still get notifications because you gotta do the fireman thing. You gotta make sure you put out fires before they grow bigger. And then Monday morning you log into work and you're like, frick, a lot of stuff. All right, but so what we want to do is we want to let's get VS Code. Let's get a VS Code session. All right, VS Code or Gemini. So this is Let me just show you how I oftentimes am doing a lot of this stuff. Actually, let me double check. All right, here we are. Yeah, this is not easy actually. Let me just push this over here. All right, here we are. Here we are. Now we can kind of like work on this kind of like how we want to. Actually, no, we'll keep that over here. We'll keep that over here. All right, so I guess our camera's gonna cover a bunch of it. I guess technically we probably should actually put our camera on the top right, huh? I feel like that actually would be less coverage of like essential items. All right, there we go. Okay, so because we code down like below us right here, and then we're actually gonna be doing like stuff over there. All right, so we want to start a new chat. Just I don't care, just new chat. Also, I just realized that this is why is this the wrong one? All right, sorry, I had to do a quick adjustment thing. All right, so let's see. We want to what is the VS Code package for Arch Linux? This is the nice thing about AI nowadays is it makes programming in Linux environments so easy because you can just like AI search it and it just helps out so much on that front. So because it just like looks it up and be like, oh, you're talking about the code stuff. So you just do like sudo. Yeah, you see it right there. It's sudo pack man dash s code. So that's how you install VS Code. It's just literally called code, which is pretty cool. They can it's just literally just code. So it's gonna install. It's installing. That way we can just do code dot and it'll open our repo where we want it to be open. So today we're going to be working in C++. Well, more like AI is working for us in C because, oh heck, yeah, it's going to make it so much easier. All right, we're opening this in VS Code. All right, we can push a bunch of this stuff out of the way since we're just gonna, we're just gonna do stuff. Ugh, I'm trying to like manage my tabs and or whatever stuff. All right, we're here over here in VS Code. This is awesome. Okay, so do you trust? I trust authors, so whatever. Don't worry about it. All right, cool. So this is our README in VS Code here. We should probably try to make this bigger so everyone can see. All right. Yeah, that's gonna be like that's way big for me, but it's better size for you guys. I need to also actually install or put my I need to put my AI in here. That way it'll make it easier for me to work in here. I think that's something I'm gonna try to do. Okay, let me get my AI in here. Maybe Codex. I think I have Codex, right? Let me get my Codex AI here. Where? How the flip do you do it? All right, here we are. Codex install. Crazy that it doesn't sort it by like popularity. I guess that could be good. Because I think the current chat that it is using, what is the chat? I was using a local chat. I don't have any local chat installed though. Let's clear that away. All right, so let me just highlight a little bit of what we're gonna do with this app. So basically this is gonna be a native Canvas workplace, AKA this is gonna be an app that runs on the native system or like that you would run it on, aka it's on your actual system. It's not hosted by a server. It's a application that just opens and uses your hardware. So the long-term product is a whiteboard style application with the following features. So we want smooth pan and zoom. We want drawing tools with stroke color selection and width adjustment. We want data visualization widgets eventually. That's going to probably be thrown towards the end. We don't need any of that right now. We got code modules because we got to figure out how to literally compile script-based codes, like non-compile languages, and try to see if we can get them running in the thing. We want our saves and loads from JSON persistence, but not as one giant file. So we need to have a JSON chunk system essentially of a save file. That way you can kind of like be able to make it work the way you want it. Add functionality for real-time collaboration, for peer-to-peer, that's going to be a later on thing, and allow plugin system where people can make their own plugins and can add new tools and able to insert new objects they design. So that way you can have like other stuff. So those are like the biggest overall of what we want. 3/4 of this already exists. I haven't dived too deep into some of them, but it seems like a lot of other stuff, whatever. And the rest of this is just like planning that I had the AI do. So this is just planning stuff. But I actually wrote this part just to make sure I got like the main chunks that I want. Let me go to my Codex over here now and see if I. How do you check if your Codex is even logged in or whatever? We're gonna sign in with Google. That's weird. It's having me change my password to my Google account. What? That don't make sense. Create a new strong password that you only use for other websites. Why is this having me create a Google password? That don't make sense. Let me log into my email really quick over here on a different screen. I need to make sure I'm not like killing myself with who knows, maybe I downloaded the wrong version of Codex. Yeah, this makes no sense that this does that. That is so weird. I don't trust that one bit. That's very weird. So I'm now gonna log in. Apparently I gotta like create a new password. I need a password I haven't used before. Wait, have I used all of my passwords, like my default passwords? Oh gosh. Oh, this ain't good. This makes it a pain in the butt to even get anything logged in then. Do we have to code by hand today? Are we not vibe coding today? We might not vibe code today. You're not seeing anything because I don't want you guys to see my logins, just saying. I don't feel like trying to actually code in C++. I'm not that proficient in C++. Very basic. This is weird. I go to ChatGPT and it's requiring me to create a new password when I'm logging in. That's so weird. Ah. All right, well, we're changing our password. Ugh, I don't know if I want to actually do that. Give me 1 second as I log in. Okay, that's so weird. Had to freaking redo my login while on a live stream. I double checked to make sure I was logging to the correct things, though. I don't want to. You always be careful with how you, set up your stuff when you're logging into things. Make sure you're actually using the official links and not other website links. All right, we have this working now. All right, cool. Here we are. Okay, so yeah, I'll have the chat below me for us chatting with it. I think at first here we're gonna want to just get this thing off the ground, like get this thing running, like my app. So let's ask the AI to basically just compile it and then run it. This C++ code base. We're gonna just have it do that. I think it's like CMake, blah 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 blah. Oh, actually, we don't have the tools on this computer to compile C++. It'll run into those issues. We're gonna let it see it and go through it. This is what agentic solutions are for, right? Yep, just a CMake. We don't have CMake, so we're gonna need to get CMake. So I'm gonna pull this over. We're gonna do we need to do a CMake. So sudo pacman -s CMake. I think that's is it literally just CMake? Yeah, C++, blah blah blah. Yep, you want those? We're gonna install those, and that should be all we need. For anybody that's wondering, I am using Arch Linux Sway version specifically. We're gonna install again because it failed, and apparently it takes 2 installs for things to work on this computer for some reason. Seriously, like, look at that. See, it just worked. It just worked just now. What the frick was that? All right, so CMake should be now installed on my computer. We're going back to our IDE. Let's let it do its thing, doing lots of random CMake stuff. It says it's compiled successfully. It did compile, as you can see. It has the Infini app right there. Now we need to run the Infini app. So we're gonna have to run that here. How do we run? I think this tells us like the commands of how to run, right? Let's do build. Wait, build Infini app. Infin app. Did I just name this wrong? Wait. I'm on Arch Linux. How do I run this thing? I don't know exactly how this is running. How are you doing there? I need to like make this bigger so I can actually see your guys' chats. Yay. Taikaka. It's funny. We actually is probably right. That's how you run it. Is using yay, right? No. This is a app we're locally building, so Infin app. All right, there we go. Okay. It's gonna be weird to like try to preview this like here and there. So this, oh my goodness, what did this Zoom just do? All right. I think this is interpreting both of my zooms as a zoom. Wait, what? Oh yeah, this is definitely interpreting both of my zooms as a zoom. So here, let me reload this again. Uh-oh. Is this crashing my computer right now? Uh-oh. No. Quick, abort, everyone. Be top. Terminal size too small. What? B top. I need to abort this. Look, we need to abort Infini app. It's killing me. Kill it now. All right, we killed it. That's good. That was scary for a second there. All right, Infini app. Let's open again. Okay. All right. So here we are. This is my Infini app, or this is the default. Okay, so this zoom works just fine. Scroll in, scroll out works here just fine. But as soon as we use our mouse wheel, it doesn't work. So when I use my keyboard zoom in, zoom out, it does. That's kind of interesting that it doesn't do that. Also, I'm gonna pull this. Can I yank this up here? Oh gosh. This is not easy. Using my keyboard setup. All right, looks like we have this working pretty decent. Seems it does break the new line on those, which is not necessarily like bad that we do that. So actually, wait, does this? Wait, how did I have this programmed? Okay, so this does create. Yes, so the size of the new nodes don't actually follow the same size as like the actual thing. So let's think about this. Oh yeah, I think we also had it so, oh whoops, gotta reopen it. I think we also had it so I think if I do B, yeah, B likes it so we can draw, but as you can tell, it is very glitchy in how it draws. Not, oh crap, I think Infini app just broke again. So that we have a lot of things that are breaking with it that we gotta do stuff for. So we gotta get this thing to be very well cleaned up. So I think here let's work on this README a bit, I think, and let's try to get this thing pretty well rounded. for what we want to make it. So Infinity App is a native blah 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 times the long-term product is a whiteboard style application with the following features: smooth pan zoom, infinite. Is that how you spell infinite? Infinite. I'm totally blanking. I'm stupid, guys. Infinite zoom, with no restrictions. This will require optimizing to only render what is needed. So that's going to be something that we're going to need to work on there. Drawing tools with stroke color selection and width adjustment. We already have that technically, but we might need to adjust how that happens based on the optimization process. Coding modules allow. At first, we will only want to have, what do you call them? At first, we're only going to want to have script or non runtime compilation languages or non-compile languages, I guess. Compiled languages like Java script and Python, etc. All right. So that's going to be a little bit of that. Saves and loads from JSON persistence, but not as one giant file. Utilize some kind of chunk system for regions and scale of zoom. The save system should not support. Should support chunk-based sub-JSON files. The very large projects can load only the visible regions and relevant zoom. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I already read that actually. Add functionality for real-time collaboration or when save. So I think phase 1. We should probably set this up in like phase 1, phase 2 kind of thing, right? So let's do phase 1. So we need the smooth pan and zoom. We want the drawing tools, and then we want note taking tools or note widgets or note modules. I think we want to call them modules. Modules with linking lines between them, just similar to draw.io. I don't know. I like draw.io a lot, so I kind of want to build based on draw.io. All right, so phase 1, we want infinite smooth panning with infinite zoom. We want drawing tools. We want note modules with linking lines between them for different stuff. Basic controls include we probably need to make a list of these, like zoom in out via scroll wheel scrolling, panning via right click drag, I guess that's how you want to call it. Left click selection on modules when using select tool. Left click, and of course it's gonna all be adjusted for touchpad eventually. So we want left click selection on modules for select tool. We want left click drag for multiple selection using select tool. Then we want left click in tool box to change tool properties. light color on draw tool. What else do we want? What else do we want? So that's that. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm gonna get rid of the data visualization widgets. I think that's something that will come way later, because the main thing is I want drawing is like essentially number one, because I want to make this a drawing app. Then coding, because those are like my two fun things I want to do. So let's do phase 2 code. Actually, we probably want to move the save, like how the save file system. So the save file system actually needs to be first. Saves and loads persistence. So we'll have that first. Phase 3 collab. We're gonna make it a collaboration kind of thing. Phase 1 basic canvas. All right. So yeah, let's do phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Then we need to have another step in here. Optimize saving and loading with rendering to support hundreds of thousands of draw strokes and other modules in the same viewport at the same time. So that's the biggest optimization. Is if we can't achieve number 2, this app will not work. Number 1 is something just, for whatever resistance or thing we need. So we do need to achieve number 2 there, else this thing is going to fail, and basically we can just throw out this project because it's not going to be worth it. All right, so I think this is good. Let's put this up at the top. It's a C++ implementation. All right. Okay. Remember C++ for build an app in layers instead of trying to implement every feature at once. Okay. So, all right. So we're gonna delete this. This is just AI slop. So we got stack. We're gonna do CMake. Blah blah blah. OpenGL for another GPU package. Yes, we're gonna need that. Go for debugging tool and editor panels. I'm GUI. Save, blah blah blah, Lua, and for sandbox plugin execution after attempting native plugins. All right, so then we need architecture. The application should be split into these subsystems. We got the core document module, which if we look over here, we have the core. That's what this is talking about, which tracks objects on the infinite canvas, stores IDs, transforms objects, types, and per object payloads. So this is the core of just rendering essentially. Then we have the camera and viewport, which is part of that system technically. So wait, so it handles pan, zoom, blah blah blah, provides visual bounds for culling. So yeah, that's what the camera viewport is. Renderings, yeah, tool system. I think isn't that over here? I think that's in the app section right here. Encapsulates user interaction modes such as pan, blah 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 blah. Persistence serializes the workspace into a project directory, not one giant JSON file. Supports chunk region files and scale-aware loading for very large canvases. Collaboration, send and receive document operations for multi. Okay, we're gonna get rid of this chunk right here. Let's only worry about these first 5. This is the phase 1 architecture that we need to worry about. We're not going to worry about the multi. Like we might have to adjust architecture a bit once we get into collabing with other people, or collabing where 2 people are running the same app and they make a peer-to-peer connection. That's a whole nother project another time. All right. Persistent strategy. The safe format should be designed around the project folder from the start. A single JSON file is acceptable for early prototype. Okay. Getting rid of that. We need multi. Prime format must remain usable even if InfiniApp no longer exists. This means canonical user data must stay in open documented files. Runtime caches must be optimal and rebuildable. Other developers should be able to write a render importer from the documented project folder alone. That is like the core principle of what if I am to start a open source project, that's the core principle. That if you have a save file, you just need only the save file and maybe an AI to be able to render whatever's in that save file. That's basically all I want to make this project. It needs to be canonical on its own. All right, the repository should treat the project folder as two layers. Okay, we got this canonical, so we need the source of truth, stable IDs, document schema, enough for reconstruct the project without InfiniAmp specific caches. All right, derived cache data, optional, disposable, rebuildable from the canonical project files, allowed to use binary formats or blah blah blah. So you have two things. This is like the slow way of rebuilding your project, and then this is the non-slow way of building your project, where like or where like if you actually have this application, you can actually still open it from using this stuff, but this can be used to build it from other stuff. All right, so we recommend layout. Yeah, we can just whatever. All right, so I think the rest of this is just like a bunch of notes to itself almost of how to format things, and I think a lot of it is fine. Oh, here we are. Build. So make build InfiniApp. Infin. I feel like I want this to be an I, not a whatever. Screw it. I don't care. Actually, why is it like that? Why did it cut it short? Did I infin it was misspelled. Do I have to go in? Oh, I'm gonna have to like go in and edit all of that. This is why you use AI. I could find a refactor tool, or I could just do it right here. What the wait? It's using AI to change it, bro. No. Refactor. All right. No way. I have to use AI to edit this thing. What the frick? No way. That's so garbage. I they made it so you can't refactor that without using AI. Wow. Like literally all it is every instance where it says infin app, I want it to be InfiniApp. I don't know. Just whatever. Okay. Let's have our AI start reading this module file. Tell it that last time what we were doing was essentially trying to get this thing to operate on stuff. So let's do that. Okay. Let's start a new chat. Can you look at the read me and me? The goal right now is to try and get this project through. Oh, I need to save this. Yeah, okay, it's saved. It should be saved. Through phase 1. The current hold up is the app very quickly fills up and crashes as it's handling of the modules, strokes, or drawing modules and such is very inefficient and it needs to support it needs to support, what does it need to support, guys? It needs to support hundreds of thousands of modules at the same time. All right, let's let AI do its magic. Magic. You do that magic. Also, I probably should like rewrite the what do you call it? I need to go and rewrite the start file because this technically starts out with its own project if that's what the sample project is, and I don't need to have like a lot of things in it. So we probably can like get, I don't know, we can just get a bare canvas kind of thing. I've been kind of debating on like the GUI, the UI look of it, essentially. I was kind of wondering. I really, the more and more I like handle different softwares, the more I really take a look at screen real estate and want to make sure screen real estate is utilized to the maximum. Meaning things that have file edit blah 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 at the top should essentially not be there. Like barely anyone ever touches the top bar of any other applications. Um, so I would like it if we could alter that kind of thing into a one button drop down to get the things that you need from it. I feel like that is a lot better. Like they have the drop down, but like for one, I almost never ever use half of these commands right off the bat. It's just like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem that efficient as far as space goes. So that's why I'm like, maybe I want to do something about it. How's this thing doing? Okay, what's it doing? What's it doing? Okay, it's gonna read the README. Just looking at the rendering. First likely bottleneck project index still rebuilds globally, and visual chunk lookup scans every chunk, so the data structure is not yet helping at scale. I'm reading the object. Okay, so it's okay. That's good. That's good. It's doing a refactor of some sort. What refactor are you doing there? Let me like see that. What are you doing? I've got a concrete refactor path now. Make object lookup O1 index objects into every chunk they overlap instead of a single anchor chunk, and have render hit test query visible objects directly from the index instead of repeatedly scanning the whole document. Ooh, that's a pretty cool. Okay, okay. So it takes the object size, it clears the lookup on that, rather than trying to look through the IDs. Interesting. Unordered map. Interesting. Okay, okay. Did it finish its project thing? No, it's still thinking. It is messing with my zoom. Oh boy. It's not adding like occasionally AI will just add a limiter to things, and I'm like, no limiter. Just like if it don't work without a limiter, it's not how I want it to be built. Look, see? There's a limiter that was actually existing. Oh yeah, that was just a limiter of how big the chunk sizes should be. That's fine. That's fine. That kind of limiter is kind of okay. So chunks should only get so big. Unordered, blah blah blah. Alrighty. When compile miss the surface, then blah blah, fixing the algorithm, include algorithm, the build is green, I'm go one last pass. Alright, tighten the phase one hot path so the app stops doing full document work for common viewport operations. Okay. Main changes are in the document.hpp and the document CPP object. The lookup is now backed by an ID map. So instead of scanning the whole document list. All right, the project index now stores chunks in a queue to look out and index objects into every chunk they overlap, not just a chunk containing their origin. Okay, let's delete our sample project then. Also rewired hit testing and rendering to use those indexed queries. Now hit test only nearby indexed objects. Biggest remaining phase one limits are rebuild is still global on each structural edit. So drag heavy workloads with very large boards will still hurt. Stroke tiling is still visible tiles, X stroke tiles. There's still no true LOD. What's LOD? line of delivery. Wait, what? What does LOD stand for? I don't know what LOD stands for. For a huge count of blah blah blah, they all share one viewport. If you want, I can take the next pass on the increment test and update the simplified LED render for dense module. All right, let's run this thing and just see how it performs, eh? All right. Oh my gosh, this thing works a little bit better than when I have it on Mac. All right, so control. All right, so when I do N, so my little whatever thing that works really well. It keeps the cursor. That's good. That's good. Oh, whoops. I just broke it. Okay. And oops. All right, that's saved still. All right, let's use the draw tool real quick. Draw some random things. Zoom out. Ooh, gosh, that zoom out was really, that zoom is very laggy. Very laggy zoom, but it's not crashing yet. So, ooh, okay, so it's having some funky viewport issues. Oh yeah, that's some funky viewport issues. Okay, oh gosh. Also, it's single operating, whatever you call it, frame. Okay, it's doing some weird funky stuff. I need to almost kill it via command line really quick. All right, kill it. All right. Okay. Yeah, it's still on to next optimization. All right. I'm just gonna let it proceed on. I feel like oftentimes when I tell AI to be like, "Oh, I'm seeing this error, but continue on and fix that error as well," it just goes and fixes that error, and it loses sight of the end goal. And it's like I just want it to keep going on towards the end goal, and just like we'll see where that lands us. Essentially, see if it actually is good or not. I don't know, stuff like that. How many cores are on my computer? I have like BTOP up in my other half of my screen. That's what this looks like. So I can see like what's in my system and what's not and whatnot. Fun stuff, fun stuff. All right. I found another big win. We're still invalidating the expensive stroke caches for edits and only touch note text or non-stroke modules in the tile console. It still does a nested stroke versus tile scan. I'm fixing both so the dense words turn less than you edit when you edit. All right. I like that. That actually sounds about what I was seeing. I think all its edits are not actually adjusting any of the stroke patterns I'm doing, making it doesn't do squat. Because you're most likely only gonna have hundreds of notes and hundreds of programming modules. You're not gonna have like it's the thousands of modules are gonna be the strokes. That's like the main thing, especially if people are gonna use this for whatever you call. All right, all right. So I did a CMake. All right. Okay, I need to tell this thing also to just, I don't know. All right, let's just draw a bunch, Oof, oh gosh. The load time on this is garbage. Yeah, that load time would be garbage. You know, in reality, I think we're basically trying to make ourselves a gaming engine to do this. These are very slow to render in and also they look very bad. Is there try optimizing this further, and also can we, if it would help, can we make this use multiple cores if that would help? Because right now it's operating as a single core program. So I'm kind of wondering if we could like send some of the drawing tasks to like multi-core kind of processes to draw it. Maybe that might be it. Hmm. Yeah. I'm very doubting that I'm actually gonna make a functioning app of this, but it's still kind of cool to see how AI is doing its thing. Is it actually even doing anything right now? Yeah, it is. Okay. I'm going after stroke renders, so rasterize stroke cache and push tile builds. Yeah, we're literally making ourselves our own gaming engine essentially to be able to do this because gaming engines handle a lot of the drawing of objects and rendering of them and everything. So all you have to do is like how things interact essentially. Us right now, we don't. We have to handle all of the above essentially, and it sucks. Do I have 62 gigs in my RAM? Wait, what? What RAM modules are on my computer? I just noticing like on my B-top thing right here, it's like it says 62 gigs of memory. I don't remember having two 16 gigabytes, or no, two 32 gigabytes in there. Maybe I do. Huh. I got all this stuff before the RAM apocalypse, so lucky me, lucky me. I have another project I kind of want to do. It's basically build my own terminal emulator. It's kind of a fun little project I want to do. We'll see how it works. I don't know. I basically want the stuff I want out of Fish emulator and the other stuff out of any other emulator essentially that also works like Bash, and throw them all together, as well as adding my own little implementation of a few things because yeah, I want better emulator stuff. Okay, it's doing its thing still. Kind of wonder what else can we do in the meantime when AI does its stuff, because sometimes you just send it to go and do random stuff, you have no idea what's going on, and you just hope for the best. I had a lot more dependencies, it looks like. It's like, oh, you want them all dependencies? Here's all the dependencies you will need. Yeah. Alright, let's pull this over here as this thing sucks at. Is it actually doing anything? That's the real question. Like, when we zoom, has issues with stamp buildup or whatever. Like, look at that. So I draw it, and then it's like stamp caching. I think it's caching everything. At least it's not crashing when I'm zooming in. That was something that happened when I was zooming in before, is it would just keep crashing and crashing. Kind of cool. Like it's kind of working, but just yeah, that caching sucks. It like don't do squat. Yeah. I think what it's doing is it's taking and treating all the different tiled regions and keeping them the same size. Is it possible to render drawing strokes at the detail of the viewport that is currently being shown as I zoom out further and further? It seems to render the details as detailed as it was in, like, what do you call this? In its more finely than when we first drew it. God, I feel like this is just like stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is doing weird random stuff. Like, okay, like let me see. Like, what is it saying? Yes, that's exactly the right decision for this app. Right now, the render in and blah 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 still rasterizes from the full stroke point set for each zoom bucket. So when you zoom way out, it's not really switching to a coarser representation of the stroke. It's just drawing the same detail stroke into a smaller result. That's why distant strokes can look oddly over detailed or shimmered compared with how they first were drawn. Yeah, because like right now, if I do like a drawing, like it's doing just fine as it is, but as soon as I let go, it like has to re-render it, which is weird. Huh. Create smaller result. That's why smaller strokes can look oddly over detailed or shimmer. Okay, what you want is level of detail rendering for strokes. At high zoom, use the full point set. At medium zoom, use a simplified point set. At far zoom, use a aggressive simplified path or even a pre-built low-res stroke tile. That gives two benefits: faster rendering because fewer segments are processed. How does these other apps work? Like, give me 1 second. I think we are overthinking some of this, maybe. Let me open up a new browser. I want to find if there's any truly infinite canvas apps. Endless Paper is the biggest one that we're kind of trying to replicate. Because, like, look at that. Look at how cool that is. We essentially want to rebuild this app. Gosh, it's a beauty. This is a truly beautiful app, to be honest. Like, truly beautiful. except for it's only on Apple. Like, web integration. Wait. What? Wait. Cause like this is what I want. Gosh darn it. I think right now we're kind of approaching this and we're finding that we're a lot of things of one, AI sucks at making gaming engines. Yeah, and then two, we just what is maybe we just need to pull up Gemini and like I don't know, 1 second. All right, what is endless app programmed in? Kind of curious. I want to investigate this app more. Because like this is the true end game of end games. Like this thing is really good. Endless Favor is built on a custom proprietary technology stack specifically designed for high performance vector graphics on iPad OS. While the developers of the studio haven't released their entire source code, the app's technical foundation is centered around several key technologies. Core engine is Fractal. The standout feature of Endless Favor is its custom built rendering engine called Fractal. Interesting. See, so that's like the half the issue of this system is that you need a rendering engine, and they have their own proprietary, but it's locked to iPad. Oh. And then their save systems are like since it's this is why I want them to open source their stuff. Oh. All right. Metal Acceleration is a 64-bit vector rendering engine that uses Apple's Metal API. This allows the app to offload graphics processing directly to the iPad's GPU, which is why it can maintain a smooth 120 FPS even when the canvas contains millions of strokes. With vector performance, unlike raster-based apps like Procreate that deal with pixels, Fractal handles the mathematical vectors, allowing the infinite zoom without losing resolution. Given that it is an exclusive high-performance iPad, it is programmed using Swift. C++ for the heavy lifting for the Fractal engine. High-performance graphics engines are almost universally written in C++ because it allows for fine-tuning memory management and the speed required to handle. I want to build that system. I just want it. Give me the Fractal freaking system. Is there any as good or similar to Fractal to their Fractile system? There's just no way. It's like I gotta beat that system somehow. I gotta freaking C++ code my own system. Closed source proprietary technology, there isn't a single one open source equivalent that matches into the infinite vector performance on iPad. However, several open source projects share similar philosophies or high performance rendering goals, depending on whether you are looking for a tool to use or a code base to study. Here are closest matches. We got Graphite, the closest engine philosophy. The most ambitious open source project attempting to build high performance vector engine that feels more like a game engine than a convenient creative app. Why it's similar, like Fractal, if it was an infinite pan and zoom without pixelation. Technology is written in Rust, okay, and uses web GPU for web. and native GPU backends. First desktop apps. It treats the canvas. Wait, what? Wait, native GPU. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Only for non-destructive editing as massive at massive scales. Currently in alpha, but highly active. Maybe this is where I should be going. I never got this before. I have looked into TL draw and that sucks, to be honest. It just nah. High performance vector rendering. Similar, lightweight C++ based vector graphics engine designed for performance in resource constrained environments like mobile or whatever. All right. I want to look at this graphite thing. Your produced procedural toolbox for 2D content creation. It looks like GIMP. Wait, what? Oh. I haven't seen fractal designs like that in a while. I remember I did something like that back in college. That was kind of cool days. Cool days, cool days. $2D open sourced. If you're open sourced, then I'd love to see. What is it doing? Makes it morph anything. Let's try this system really quick. Wait. File, new, infinite canvas. Wait. How does one zoom in? Oh. This is what I have a hard time with when I have drawing apps. This is good. Wait, I just needed to find this app. This is pretty good though. Do they have a way for me to Okay. Maybe this is where I should start. Maybe I should go and investigate this site of whatever whatnot. Except for how do they get the stroke size to be here? Let's explore this, guys. We're gonna explore this like big, a lot more. Explore this design. I want to see, is there a way? Oh, the width is by pixels. We don't want the width to be by pixels. Also, why is the outside UI so laggy but the inside UI is clean and fast? That makes no sense to me. I don't know. Wait, let me see this. Infractal. Oh. This is store strokes is wait. Okay, no, this is no how in the actual or the graph. Whoops, I actually gave it the wrong stuff. In graphite. Ah, not typing right. Graphite. How do I make my strokes not pixel based on the infinite or infinite canvas? Also, I want to see what the save file looks like. Gradient tool. Interesting. Okay. It is very clean and good. Show all handle selections. How do you make this so it's not custom color, custom working color? I'm trying to figure out how to get this thing to work. See, this is where it's like, I don't know how crap works in these things. I want this to stroke above, stroke below, meter. I'm looking at the right screen, which I'm not showing right now. It's this little side thing right here underneath is like how I can switch this to not be. How in the world does one edit things in this app? Um, yeah, see, it's a graphite save file, but maybe they have it so you can technically rebuild it, or since it is open source, you can host it. I want to figure out. File new. Gosh, is it not working? I don't give a crap. Just reload. File new. I want to infinite canvas. Okay. The document crashed without being rendered in its current state. Undo your last action to restore to work. Okay, so it's crashing, but I wonder if it's because it is in a web browser. Let me see. Okay, license, logo, press, contact, GitHub. Let me see this GitHub. Are you a graphics programmer or Rust developer? Graphite aims to be one of the most approachable. However, putting your engineering skills to use in an open world source. You see instructions here, set project getting started. All right, I think we should try this graphite. This actually might be the solution I've been looking for, so I don't need to build my own solution. Except, it doesn't have a thing that I kind of was thinking about. What does it build in? It says build in Java or Rust. What's Volte? What is that? Some kind of scripting language. Okay, interesting. Can I host my own graphite instance on my home lab machine? kind of wondering. On your own home lab because it's built with a web first architecture and Rust. It is designed to run in browser, which makes self-hosting as the web app for easiest. It is written in Rust, compiled in WebAssembly, and doesn't necessarily need a complex backend to run it. You just need a web server to host the static files. Okay, let's do this. Give me the instructions to set up a Docker container. Also, how does the processing work? Should I set this up on my virtual machine with a GPU? And can I pass that through to help rendering and such in browser in the other client's browser, or is all the processing done on client side? Let's see how this works. The Graphite is a client first approach application built with Rust, and the way you host it is a bit different from traditional server-based software. How to proceed? It's a web app. The server does the thinking in Graphite. The server is just a file delivery person. Okay, this is actually how I was thinking that we would design our app, anyways. Because that makes sense. Host the static HTML, blah blah blah. It sends the files to your browser. The client's job, your browser. Once the files arrive, your browser executes the Rust code using its own CPU, renders the graphics using its own GPU via Web GUI or GL. The infinite math, all the vector. Okay. Docker setup instructions. Since it's static site, you can host it using a lightweight server. Like, okay, that's good. All right. Let's host this thing. Let's get this thing working. Here, let's just go down here. All right, we're gonna SSH into my one computer, which is I think it's this one. All right, ls. Okay. We are in our one computer now, so we're going to make a dir graphite, right? Yeah, make dir graphite. All right, then we're gonna do cd into graphite, and then we're gonna do a nano docker compose.yaml. Okay. Let's see. We need to host this not on that port because that port is definitely used. Let's host it on 90 or 87? No. Yeah, let's host on 87. Yeah. Yeah, let's try that. Run it, Docker compose. Okay, Docker compose up dash D. All right. All right, we're supposedly hosting it now. Let's go to go comma 8097. Is that what I or 87? Is that what I said? Forbidden. Wait, what? Yeah. NextGL. HTTP S colon slash go. Nope, that's not working. All right, get rid of the S. All right, it's getting 403 forbidden. Okay. Is there any other thing I'm supposed to do on it? You should use GPU. No, you don't need a GPU. Okay. To be on port 80 87, and now getting a 403 forbidden. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. 403 errors context almost always mean the Nginx process inside your container doesn't have permission to see or read the files you're monitoring from your host machine since you're using blah 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 blah. I think I need to set. Can we set the user's permissions from the Docker compose? Oftentimes you gotta like set the Docker compose to actually like have like the correct stuff in here basically. So yeah, you can see root or user has blah blah blah. I'll show you an example of what this would look like. So if I do cd dot dot out of this, let's go and look at like maybe a nano of like let's say MeTube or something like that. MeTube Docker compose. Yeah, so here, oh wait, this one doesn't have, yeah, this one doesn't necessarily have, oh yeah, it has like PUID. Oh, right there, yeah, see, this is what we're most likely doing. Okay, so yeah, with that, we're basically gonna do that. All right, so let's do graphite, Docker compose. All right, so we're gonna add, right here, users or user, and then it has to be like basically 1000 comma 1000. That basically gives it so this Docker container is used by that person essentially. So oh whoops, we're not in. All right, let's do a over here. We got to cd into graphite again, Docker compose. Go on, just Docker compose dash d up. All right, let's try this again. Nope. Nope. Okay, it's now not working at all. Am I doing this wrong? Let me. Oh, it's Vim Docker compose. Okay. Let's do like nano. All right, let's like add this stuff in here. I don't know. Wait, will crash, but if it's not root, it can access the blah 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 blah. We use the unprivileged version because it is the standard one. Okay. Okay, let's try that now. So it's gonna then instead pull down that. This site cannot provide a secure connection. Wait. Oh. Nope. Just looking for a 3 forbidden. I tried your option 2 and it did not work. It's still giving me 403 forbidden. Ah, come on. This doesn't look right. I don't think this is working. Give me instructions for downloading and hosting a Docker instance of Graphite, the drawing software, the open source. The need to make sure it knows what it's the open source drawing software on my home lab system. Come on, make it work. Make it work. Since you need WebAssembly and JavaScript files, you can grab them from the create folder named Graphite Web. You shouldn't accessing the editor. I need this to be on port 8087 and also give me the links to download to my Debian system. Let's see if that works. Hmm. Let's try this again. We'll do what it wants us to do, which this is basically what we did before. Let's okay, and then we're gonna download the files. Oh, apparently that file already exists. Found not found. Oh, we gotta get the latest version from GitHub. Wait, where are we getting it? We're doing the Graphite Web. Okay. We want Graphite Web, this one. Right? Wait. Releases download. This is different deployments. Normally go to deployments and you just grab the most recent one. Oh, is this like one of those like build on the fly kind of deals? How do you know that this is the actual deployment? Or where is this is master? That's not master. Wait, this is dev though. Wait, I want their website production. Yeah, this one. Copy link address. I think we just need that one, right? wget this? Is that one? No, that's just HTML. No. No, we don't need that. We need the actual deployment. Nope, yeah, it doesn't do downloads. It's a freaking deployment page. Ah. I think it's this one. wget. Yeah, I think it might be that one. Okay. Wait, this is. Wait, I just downloaded. Wait, what do we. Ah. That's a self-hosted build. Oops, don't do that. Don't do that. No, 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 no. ls unzip graphite into dash d dist. All right, permission denied. Excellent. Sudo. I think I just got my password wrong. All right. All right, so graphite's in there in a file. All right. I don't know if it's gonna see that that file is in the dist by itself, but we can let's give it a try. Docker compose up dash d. Let's just see if nope. Here, let me just give AI what I did, and we'll see if AI can correct me on what I'm doing. Wait, is that the error I was getting? What ports are allocated? Docker. Yes. Oh gosh, this is where it's gonna get. I gotta like minimize this a bit, guys. So we need to get rid of the Docker compose down graphite app. Gosh darn it. Okay. All right, now it might work. Nope. Still not working. Gosh darn this thing. Yeah, sudo this. Because it's basically just having me do sudo that. All right, there we go. We had to find that the directory, which is basically like pulling that whole thing out and everything. All right, now let's launch again. CD back, and then Docker compose once again. All right, go 80, 87. We got it working! Booyah, baby! We're so smart. Oh my gosh, how smart we are. Okay, let's push this to one side of the screen. All right, let's see. New infinite canvas. I want the paint tool. And then when I zoom in, I want it to draw, and it renders really crudely. And it keeps crashing. Being rendered in its current state. I keep getting where it crashes. Or here, let me just okay. I got it working. I opened a infinite zoom canvas and started drawing and zooming in and drawing, and it crashed. I wish it'd let me copy that. Gosh, freaking darn it. This is a classic infinite zoom trap. While graphite uses a specialized vector engine called Graphene, it still lives within the constraints of your web browser's memory and hardware of the device you're using to view it. When you zoom infinitely and keep adding detail, you're likely hitting one of those three ceilings. Browser memory RAM limits. Every time you draw a stroke, it stores the mathematical path, even though it's infinite. Your browser. Yep, that makes sense. That makes complete sense of what's happening. Check the console since you're hosting this yourself. Keep a browser developer tool. Update your build since you're using a build in 2025. Check for the blah blah blah. Is there a local app of this so that we aren't limited by browser alone? Because yeah, that is definitely a reason that the browser just crashed, because it's just not, it's using all of its resources. Um, my workstation is actually Arch Linux. Let's see. I want to try this in Arch Linux. Oh, wait. I gotta like start a new thing because that is SSH'd in. All right. We want to install using Yay. Yay. Install. Okay. I want to try this thing out and see if it works better locally and what that stuff make it really good. I'm just sitting here watching the thing go very, very slowly. How big is this? This is, wait, drop 19 gigs? Is that what this is? Ooh. I don't know why it's being so slow. What am I downloading? I don't know. That's pretty big. All right, well, we have found that we are not at the technical capability using AI coding to build what we want. So I think this project's kind of off the table in that respect. My other project, am I gonna be able to almost vibe code my way through making a terminal emulator? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Possibly. Hmm. Either way, I'm kind of getting tired of live streaming. I would like talking this whole time. I feel like I want to veg. I'm gonna end the live stream here. Nice talking with you guys. We found out that vibe coding isn't really gonna get us what we need. We got to do some real big fundamentals of like what, using your processor to do whatever crap with C++ and stuff that basically AI has no clue what it's doing. It thinks it does, and it doesn't. But it's not accomplishing it. So yeah, like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff. I'll see you all later. Bye bye.